We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We're live. We're live. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Today, we're going to talk about the disaster I've been having building this house in Sierra Leone. You know, the phrase people usually use for something like this is they'll say it's been a labor of love. This has just been labor. And on Labor Day, I thought I would share with you the struggles. For those of you who are thinking about building off plan, who don't want to buy in a housing community, you want to build your own house. Let me tell you some of the challenges that you are going to receive on a Labor Day. Okay, I woke up this morning, woke up yesterday, and spent time on the phone, hours yesterday, today, earlier in the weekend, talking through the many different things pertaining to this house project. It's a lot of struggles, a lot of challenges. For those of you who are building in Africa, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Shout out to Menelik. Welcome to the live stream. You guys can hear me. Sinmo said you can hear me. Okay, King Joseph in LA said you can hear me. Long time, brother. Good to see that you're back. The usual MI from Uganda. Abino. Oh, Abiano is watching from Tanzania. Shout out to Abiano. Peach says hello to everyone. So guys, you know, obviously we're very late today. Usually we go live 50 minutes earlier than right now, but it has been a struggle today. Let me tell you something. This is supposed to be Labor Day. It's supposed to be a day of rest. It's supposed to be a day where, you know, we just enjoyment. There is a West Indian Day parade going on about 10 blocks from here, and I have not seen it at all. I have not seen it at all. Alimami is here from the UK. What's up? Journey with V says, hey, came in my feed, chiming in from Florida. What's up, Journey with V? What's up, V? Sinmo 27 is California. Nice. So listen, man, this has not been a great 8 months since the start of this year. I talked about this a little bit, and I think we're just going to talk about it now. You know, I was trying to trying to be as diplomatic as possible when it came to some of this stuff. And I feel like sometimes you just got to be honest with the audience and make sure you guys are aware of some of the challenges that you'll run into in some of these circumstances. I told you guys a little bit about some of the problems and challenges I was having building this house, right? And it's just like the frustration reaches a fever pitch at some point. And so let me explain to you what is going on. For those of you who are new to the platform, my name is Joe Hatagwa. I'm authentic. I'm the founder and CEO of Authentic African. Our goal is to get people to do one of three things: visit, move, or invest in the continent of Africa. We're trying to bridge the gap between Africans living on the continent and those living in the diaspora, right? So that's our goal, is to bring these two groups together to collectively build as a community, because everyone else is profiting off us except us. So that's the goal of the platform. And we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? I mean, we talked about everything from me not having hot water to the first apartment that I moved into in Ghana and didn't even know to check for that, to all the way till now, 4, 5 years, 6 years into owning land and finally building a structure that is worthy of moving into. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. And so, this year has been a tough year because so to give you guys some context, I'm on my 4th contractor. I'm doing a building a house in Africa series I'm working on YouTube. Every Sunday today, a new video comes out. Building video 9 went out today. We got plenty of videos to come. You guys will get caught up as you watch that series. I definitely recommend you go to the YouTube channel and watch the series. Right now, I'm going to just jump into where we are right now because, man, you guys need to hear this and you need to learn from this. So the first thing that I would say is, wherever you're building, understand the climate first and foremost. It's the most important thing you should understand. Understand the climate. What do I mean by understand the climate? What I mean is, does it rain like torrential downpours? If it does, you have to understand how to mitigate mold and leaks and dampness issues within your home. That's just going to be the number one thing that you're going to have to try to protect against once you're dealing with building a house in this environment. It is what it is. And it doesn't matter how much money you spend on building the house. If you do not have risk mitigation around this challenge, you are in for a lot more spend and a lot more headaches. So I may have told you all, my first floor was meant to be completed in Q1 of 2025. In fact, the last payment was made in January of 2025. So just, accounting for certain potential delays, the house should have been done by March of 2025. Now, small things here and there have been adjusted and worked on over the last couple of months, but I'll be visiting Sierra Leone very shortly, and the house is not ready for me to move in yet. And here's why. When I have discussions with my contractor, here's what I learned. Your contractor has a specific skill set. Sometimes they're an engineer, sometimes they're an architect, sometimes they're actually a builder, right? Generally, they're going to have a foreman who's on site, who is communicating with the workers on site. The contractor that you're normally dealing with, no matter what their skill set is, they tend to visit your site often as the work is being worked on, but they may have other sites they have to go to because they may have other clients, right? So generally, a good contractor, throughout the week, they'll visit each of their individual sites. Sometimes that's every day they're at a site. One particular site, they might be there 2-3 days in a row, and then sometimes they'll go check on another site in the same day. Sometimes they take on more clients, and when they do, they neglect certain sites. What we have in Sierra Leone is an issue with taking accountability. There's an issue with taking accountability. So, as I was building my house, I know that this is going to be at least 2 stories, right? So as I'm building it, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to work on each floor, complete the entire floor first. We're going to put temporary roofing on it as the rainy season happens. And then you'll just do the subsequent floors until you get to the top, and then you actually do a permanent roof. That was my original plan. By the way, for those of you who are building, I do not recommend you do that. What I recommend you do is you build the structure all the way up, you roof it, and then you work on finishings in each individual floor. I definitely recommend that. That's number one. That was my first mistake. My first mistake was thinking, I'll do the first floor first, make sure it's done. It'll be move-in ready so that the person who's supposed to be moving in will be moving in, and then we'll work on the subsequent floors. The construction will continue, right? That's the expectation. Bad idea. In a country like Sierra Leone, especially where the house is, the rains are so bad, the torrential downpours are so bad that there's nothing you can do to potentially protect against it. Now, I was given instruction that a waterproofing material would be put on top, so that'll ensure that water doesn't leak through or damage through, or it will be able to mitigate that, but it'll only be able to really last one rainy season. These were the specific words that I was told. One rainy season. I got a recommendation that we should probably put some kind of tarping or something over top just in case. So I went about that process of putting tarping on top. Now, in the process of me being frustrated about 6 weeks ago, one of the subscribers who was watching mentioned it to her mother. Her mother reached out to me and mentioned that she could help out with the situation I'm dealing with, because I had just come back from Sierra Leone. It was frustrating because like the work that I needed to done wasn't being done, and the work that I needed done wasn't being done, and I was having a hard time communicating my needs, and the process was being done incorrectly. And what I kept getting was excuses and blame pushed on me as opposed to taking responsibility for the issues. For example, what you're going to see on screen right now is, hold on, let's see. How do I move this on the screen? Okay, there we go. On screen here, what you're seeing is the plan that I sent in March of this year for what is called a boys' quarter. This is the housing dwelling for the people that are helping in the house, a cook, driver, and the people who clean the house, all of that stuff. They're living here. Okay. This, some version of this was the original that was sent. It's a little bit different than what the original was sent. The original had the doors for the toilet sink side and the shower side were like this in the original drawing. Now, I sent this drawing back in March, maybe even February of earlier this year. When I arrived in Sierra Leone, it did not look like this. This was one giant open space, and it was one big bathroom. Why does that matter? Well, because there's a family living here, a security person who's going to be in the security post off to what is the right of this plan that you can't see, and they will be sharing the bathroom. And so what we wanted to do was have separate entrances so that the family would be able to shower and move around as needed with the shower. And if the security person wanted to use the toilet, they could use the toilet and quickly go back to their security post. There was very specific instructions given. In fact, this drawing I drew myself and sent, and it was not followed. It was not followed. So now we have to renovate the bathroom to split it into two parts, put in new doors here and here so that these can be two separate spaces. So that's why it looks weirdly dysfunctional in this area right here, because we have to have a door that opens outwardly this way and a door that opens inwardly this way, because the toilet's right there. So the door can't open inward here. This door can't go here because of the way the space is structured and set up. So a new sink needs to be added here because it wasn't done as I instructed. And this here is already set up the way it needs to be set up. So we just need to add a door here and add a wall here. That was the first of many challenges. The first of many. Now let's get back to the main house and the problems we discussed with flooding. So, well, not flooding, but with leakage. So the first thing is this. I hire this project manager, someone who's been through the process of building before. She went with me to the site. She looked at a number of different things, and she said to me, look, these are things. And I was missing some things. I was like, you know what? She's going to be good. I actually do need this person to help me with this process. So, you know, she's been doing the best she can considering the circumstances because Salon, the frustrations are real. So she expressed how the tarping was supposed to be laid out. Now, tarp is like a material, right? Like a linen type material, kind of like this, right? Stretchable material, kind of waterproof. You know, something that you can put on the roof, right? So that it keeps water. It's like it was going to be a temporary roof. So she had given some instructions because what they use is they use these sticks. And the best way I could describe them is like they're using like branches, not sticks, but branches, right? We're going to use these toothpicks as an example of the branches that they use. Okay. Now they basically set them up like this so that water would flow down. But you know what they did? They put the ones that go across on top like this. Now, you can't see it, but if you have tarping on top of that, water is going to pool in this area right here. Let me show you what that looks like. You see, when you put the branches on top, that are supposed to be sloping down for where the water to come through, right? Sorry, if you put the ones on, if you put these on top like this, the water pools on top of it. And that's what happened here. Instead of having these, the ones that are parallel to the ones that are like this should have been on top, and the ones going across should have been on the bottom, right? So that keeps water from pooling. So the instructions were explicitly given. Now, my project manager wasn't able to go back the day that they were doing the work. They did not listen to us. The wood on top should have been underneath. So you see this on top? So you can't tell here, but it gave way. It got too heavy because the water was pooling on top here. You see it here. The water was pooling on top. They did not listen to the instructions we gave. So the water pooled on top, and it sat there for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And then it gave way because the wind is strong, and it fell. Then what happened is the water is just sitting on top of the roof. So you know what that ends up doing? It ends up creating situations like this. Can you guys see this? Do you see the water damage here? By the way, this white here is dry. This here is wet. Okay? Let me show you some other pictures. This is dry. This is wet. So now I go back and say, you didn't listen to what we said. And the argument was like, I don't believe that there's always going to be a water situation. I don't believe that your suggestion or your solution is the right solution. Bruh, I know what I'm talking about. It's simple physics. I may not be a contractor. I may not be a builder, but it's simple physics. You operate in a way that leaves water the best way to flow off the roof. So my project manager just spent a whole day, 2 days in a row with them, making sure they did it the right way this time. Now, had it been done the right way 6 weeks ago, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. So let me show you what they did now, because it's a very different process and it's done the way it was supposed to be done. And you guys will appreciate this because it looks very different from what the previous version looked like. So I'm just going to add those images really quickly so you guys can see it. Hold on a second, because I'm doing this in real time. As I'm speaking to you, I'm pulling over everything to the right folders, etc., etc. This is a hard thing to do while talking at the same time as you are actually uploading videos and pictures, etc. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me just a little bit as I pull it up. Okay, so I can't seem to find the pictures, of course. Just want to, okay, I found them. Okay, this is what I'll do. I'll just go to downloads here. Yep. And then we'll go to these images. So, okay. Okay, so now you see how it's flush. There's no areas where it can pool. So you could see these sticks here are on top, not underneath. What's underneath are the support beams that are going across. They're underneath these. If they were on top, you'd have these little square areas where water can pool, which is what happened the last time. We told them to do it like this. They refused to listen, and this is the result. We told them to do it like this. They refused to listen. It ended up looking like this, and this is the result. Now, looking at this, right, it's pretty obvious what we said makes the most sense. If you put the support beams that are going across on top, you're going to have these little square areas where water can pool. If you put the support beams underneath, all water can do is flow off. I mean, it was so simple, so easy to understand. It was agreed upon, it was expressed and explained clearly. But because my project manager wasn't able to be there while it was happening, they did it the way they wanted to. And we had all of these issues in the house with the leaking. Now I went back and forth with this guy. I'm frustrated and they're getting frustrated with me as if I'm wrong, right? As if I'm wrong. Like I'm incorrect. And it's obvious. If you look at this, right, you can't see where water would just pool anywhere, right? It's pretty clear that the water will just run right off. There are no little square areas where water can pool. Very simple. Physics. Really simple. The support beams are underneath the beams that are going down, that are driving the water down off the edges of the house. It was that simple. And they argued and argued with me over something so obvious. So obvious. Now, I'm the one who has to deal with the water damage in the house. I got to wait till that water dries up. We have to wait to paint the house. We have to wait to do a number of different things. Now, would there have been some moisture in the house? I can't say that there wouldn't have been moisture at all in the house. Let's be very clear. It's a rainy season. There's no full-on roof up there. There's no tiling up there. So yes, there would have been some moisture on the walls in the house. But at the level in which you guys see that the water had been soaking through, that is strictly because of the decision not to follow what it is that we asked them to do. That's what is so frustrating. You can solve these issues if you have proper communication and if they listen. And the thing is, because the person I have working on the site has become so popular, has other jobs that they're doing, they're focusing on those jobs because I paid my last payment for this work in January. So this means that some of this has to come out of their own side, their own pocket, because of the inconsistency and doing it incorrectly. And they're going to take their time to do that, you know? And based on principle, I'm not saying that, and also I already had a budget with them. So they used some of that budget, by the way, for some of this work to purchase some of these things. But to correct their mistakes, it's going to take a long time because they're not the ones who have to live in the house, right? And so this is somebody I was highly recommending to people. And I would say, if you have all the money to pay up front and you're giving large lump sums all at the same time, then he will absolutely be on your job and make sure it's done to a T, because he'll be there every day. The issue is if it's over an extended period of time, 1 year span, and you make your last payment in January and he happens to take on 2 new clients, he's going to go focus on those clients, work on them, and not even come to the site maybe once a week or even less than once a week. Then when he comes to the site, he doesn't properly inspect the work that his people are doing. So let me show you some of the other terrible work that was done by this team. Now, this isn't indicative generally of how he and his team works, but because he wasn't there to watch regularly, this is what you find. Let me see if I can find you guys an image so I can share it with you guys. So this is very frustrating, as you guys can see. And this is not what I expected to the challenges to be. I really did not expect that this is the conversations that we'd be having right now. I was looking forward to the next time being there, doing a live stream from within the house and showing you guys this. So as you can see, when they were installing the ceiling, they broke it when they installed it. I'm giving the excuse that it didn't happen when they installed it. It happened later. But when you see it, you see a bunch of lines like this in the living room and other places. So whenever it cracked, what they did is they tried to do some caulking or something around it. And these are all supposed to be flush panels that go across. You're not supposed to see some random cracks like this. So these are all things that, because he wasn't available to go look, this happened. So this is the frustrations you guys can run into when you build off plan, you don't have a project manager, and you don't have the ability to really be there while the major parts of the process are happening. So a couple of things that I recommend for you guys before we go. if you're going to do this, right? Number one, ensure that you have a project manager that does not work for the contractor, who is a separate set of eyes and ears that can watch for you and be on site throughout when work is being done. That's the only way you can ensure and maintain quality, even if you're dealing with a quality contractor. That's number one. Number two, make sure that that project manager hears the direction given by the contractor to the foreman on site in front of them, so they can ensure that it's the proper communication being made, that the other side understood, and that you all have proof that it has been communicated properly. Number three, if you're going to build off plan, build all the way up to the top floor. That is going to be the main number of floors that you're going to do, and roof it up and roof it. You want to do that. You know, there's a house that's 2 houses down from me. It's 5 stories high. And none of the inside of the house has been finished yet. They built all the way up to the roof, and now little by little, they're finishing each individual floor. And I was like, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it my way. But the reason why they did that is because it was never going to be inhabitable anyway if you did it the way I did it. So you might as well build it all the way up, then do the finishings, so that then you can move in later. That was the lesson that I learned. And I really wish that I had done it that way. Any thoughts, questions, comments from folks? I see Jada's in the building. Jada, did you go to Sierra Leone already? I can't remember. Jada saying, how much did I miss Joe? You sound mad. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for sure. Simo27 says, oh no, that's no good. It's no good at all. ATM International, peace from North Carolina. ATM International. Yeah. So anyway, I think we're going to leave it at that. I'm just going to tell you, just follow those instructions that I gave you. And, you know, I always say on this live stream, right? Joe did that so you don't have to go through that. I made all the mistakes so you don't have to. That's why I advise people. You know, I think some people think that you can be an advisor only if you did things the right way. But you can also be an advisor to tell a person why they should do it the right way, because if you've done it the wrong way, you can actually see what happens when you do it the wrong way. So that's why I've been advising folks who are planning to buy land, build, move to the continent of Africa based on the mistakes that I made, so that you don't make those same mistakes. You know, when I talk to you about having a consistent stream of income that will be paid to you and residually, no matter where you are in the world, I give you that advice for a reason, right? So you're not chasing after work locally and trying to figure out how you're going to make it a living when you don't have a network and experience locally on the ground. I tell you that so that you can stay and don't have to move back to your country of origin and then try to regroup and come back. I know about a couple people who've now made their return. They came back to the country of origin, you know, figured out those you know, reoccurring revenue streams, and then moved back. I know a couple other people who haven't moved back, but it's on their plan, right? A few of us, I have a group of friends who we've all talked about this. Like, look, in the next couple of years, we're moving back. For me, I'm accelerating that process. I'm planning to move back. It's just I need to replace my full-time income with the entrepreneurial endeavors that I have going on, and the stuff that I'm going to be mentioning to you all very shortly. But this is why you need to go through you need to go through real people who've done this before. So Nia makes a good point here. Nia says, thank goodness that Alita Israel company is building up my property. So yeah, so Alita's been doing this for 5 years now. I have an interview. I was actually just editing the interview I did with her. So I went up to Asebu, and I went to the Alita Israel estate, and you guys will get a chance to hear from her directly, her story, how she got to the point where she's helped over 70 people buy and build land in Ghana. And she also does a tour of the neighborhood. We got drone shots, everything. So you get a chance to hear from her directly. And she is dealing with all the frustrations, so you don't have to. So this whole idea of building off plan is what I'm talking about. You go through someone like Alita, or you go through someone like Beyond Investments, you go through Migrating Culture Crossing, you go through Sambra City, you go through TAF Salon or TAF Gambia, TAF Nigeria. These are all construction projects, major construction projects, where they're dealing with all the hassle of all the things on the ground. You just pay for them to build a house on plan, similar to the houses they have in their structures that they're building, and you just come and move in, right? You just deal with you have one liaison. That person has the full infrastructure to do all of that. Now, if you don't want your house to look like theirs and you want to do it on your own, just know that these are some of the things that you can deal with as challenges. And so this is why I make sure I make mention of these things, so that when you're hearing someone say, should I build off plan? Should I not build off plan? Should I build on plan? These are the things that you can consider when that time comes. All right. So with that, I want you guys to come back in about an hour and 40 minutes, because I will be going live again with Tree Hill, the team at, is it Tree Hill? Hold on, let me get it right. I don't want to get it wrong. But I'll be going live with the folks at his name is Imani. We met at InvestFest. And his business is called Top Hill. And his name is Imani. So Imani goes live on YouTube. He and his podcast partner do reactions, or live stream partner do reactions to videos, things happening in Africa and in the diaspora. I'm going to be joining them today in about an hour and 40 minutes. And I will be on their channel, and hopefully we can stream to my channel as well. So we'll be back here again today. Yes, this is Labor Day. Yes, I'm working overtime today. That's how it works. Okay, Nia says she'll be here for this, or Nia says they'll be here for the second live stream. So I'm going live twice today. We are working overtime. You know why we're working overtime, guys? Because I want to be able to retire early and only do what I want to do. Because if I do that, then I can alleviate some of the challenges that we're seeing here. That's the goal. That's the goal, is to alleviate the challenges that I've been going through building this house in Sierra Leone. I will be there very shortly. I'm not telling anybody when I'm going, so you guys can start asking me to bring stuff for you, because you know how you do. I already got multiple requests, and maybe I'll do a live stream about that. But very soon, I will be going live from another continent. So Sierra Cam channel says, hold on tight. Building back home is not easy at all. Not easy at all. KAK says, I'm Ghanaian with architecture training who can give customers proper architectural design that will suit their American lifestyle, but suit conditions in Ghana. There you go. You guys can go check out KAK and see if you want to work with them. All right, so we'll be back live very shortly. I'm going to be reacting to whatever we're reacting to. Stay tuned. But yeah, I'll put up the promotions here. I'm going to get myself all set up for that, just to make sure that I can go live on my own platforms. I want to make sure that I can. And once I do that, I'm pretty sure I can, though. I'm looking at the application and see what it says about being able to join. But I will figure that out. But it's Top Hill. We're going to be going live. We're going live on Stream Labs, which streams across multiple platforms. I just want to see if there's, as a guest, it allows me to add my own stream. I'm looking at the interface right now. But anyway, either way, if you don't see it on my channel, you can go over to Top Hill's channel and you'll be able to see me there. I'm looking forward to joining. Hopefully this is going to be one of many different times that I'm on their live stream. So stay tuned for that, because we got a lot more coming. So with that, I want to say thank you all for joining. I appreciate you as always. Those of you who join each and every week, Manelik, shout out to you. You've been around since day one, you know, and a few of you others who have been a lot more active recently. Shout out to a new person who's visited the channel, Journey with V. Jada, we've had our consulting call, and you know, I appreciate you joining. You've been joining faithfully, and you know, I'm glad that you're here. And all the new folks that we're seeing, Nia and Sierra Cam, I know that you've been on and off as of late too, so I appreciate you joining. And then those of you who joined from Instagram and then TikTok too, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you all. So stay tuned. If you know anybody who's planning to move to Sierra Leone, build a house in Sierra Leone, or build a house in West Africa in general, where the climate is as such, make sure you send this to them so they know what they could run into in terms of leakage issues. And then also make sure you send this to them so they can know what they need to do to ensure that they have quality control on the ground with the work that they're doing. So with that, guys, thanks for watching. See you all on the next live stream.